Active listening. Business analysis active listening. Welcome, everyone. During this presentation, we will talk about how to listen actively. This skill is especially important for the business analysis work. A significant part of your time will be spent by interviewing or talking to your stakeholders and listening to them actively. Interpersonal communication has two sides: the sending and the receiving of a message, or, in other words, speaking and listening. It is better to listen first, then speak, to seek first to understand than to be understood. If we seek first to understand, we listen with the intent to acquire the knowledge to be more effective when we speak. In other words, it has to be diagnosing before prescribing. So how can we listen actively? People are sensitive to attention and feel unappreciated or even frustrated when they sense that they are not being listened to or understood. They notice the ignoring and pretending levels. Selective listening is when we or somebody else hear what they want to hear. The speaker may not notice selective listening easily. However, later when you reflect on what has been said, it will turn out. Even if you are generally very attentive, if you are distracted when you meet someone for the first time, the assumption will be that you do not find the person particularly interesting, or that you are generally a very self-absorbed person. There are ways to show that you are listening actively: slowly agreeing, nodding, leaning towards the person, smiling, matching their emotion, and making eye contact. Now let's see the behaviors during listening. First, you have to focus. Be quiet and pay attention. Maintain a listening posture. It should be open and welcoming. Show that you are listening. You can do so by making encouraging gestures or sounds, and you can nod. Look at the speaker directly. Next, you can provide feedback or reflect what has been said by asking open-ended questions. Restate the content to make sure you are on the same platform. Reflecting will help you to clarify things. You may also do so by paraphrasing. You may say, "If I understood you correctly," or "What I am hearing is." Before moving on to summarizing, let's see what are the open and closed questions. You can ask open and closed questions. Open questions are the ones when the responder can choose to structure the reply. It cannot be answered by a simple yes or no or any specific thing. Open questions often start with how, what, why. It may often require a longer answer. Closed questions look for specific, shorter answers. Those questions often start with who, when, where, how many. The last step in listening actively is summarizing. What you do after you ask a question can reveal even more about you than questions you ask. You reveal your true level of interest in the way that you listen. You state your understanding of the situation. Active listening is a combination between being fully present and generally interested in someone and their feelings. There are a couple points that we should keep in mind if we want to listen actively. Sometimes when we are listening, we find that our minds are wandering to other topics or just simply already planning the answer. Don't do it. Also, it may happen that we are already deciding on the message at the same time when we are listening to it. These are things that we should avoid, as we lose part of the message as we are not actually listening to it. Additionally, we have to concentrate on not being distracted by the disturbing sounds around us. Finally, do not interrupt the speaker, as usually in the end you will have the opportunity to ask closed and open questions. Now let's summarize what we have talked about so far about active listening. There are 5 levels of listening. They are ignoring, pretending, selective, attentive, and emphatic listening. When we listen, we should first focus on the speaker quietly, maintain a listening posture, and show the signs of listening by either nodding or making encouraging gestures. The next step comes with the reflection phase, where we can ask questions, open or closed ones, or just rephrase what has been said to check if we understood everything correctly. Finally, we summarize what we have heard. There are a couple of things we should do to avoid during listening. We should not plan the answer or judge the message while listening at the same time. We should also not interrupt the speaker, and we should concentrate on not being distracted by our environment. Thank you once again for your time and attention, and this is businesstraining.com, where you can earn a master's level qualification to make more money.